Ba-dum-bum.
Just like that. Look at that. Nobody is watching currently. We have no views. Hey, it is Monday night. You can watch.
We have a like.
It's Monday night, and it is the EriDan Film Festival for this February 12th, 2024, episode 190. 190.
I may not talk a whole lot tonight.
Same night.
I may not talk a ton tonight because I had a tooth pulled today.
No.
And it doesn't hurt, but as I'm talking, it feels weird. So,
well, you look weird. I'm feeling strange.
Speaking of strange, if you want to join us tonight,
what would people do if they wanted to join us? There we go. They would go to EriDanLive.com and they could join in to talk about movies and maybe have a chance to be involved in this show. How could you resist? Our movie picker is going to be late tonight.
Oh, well, there you go.
The person who chose our sports themed movie is going to be a little bit late, but so I don't know, to tell stories.
Or we could just
bring
people. We have other people. We could bring them in. We could talk to them.
You want to talk to some people?
I'm doing the lean in. Sure.
All right. More than words can say. No, it's not right. Hey.
Hello.
What's up, writers?
This guy.
Yeah, same old.
Which guy? Which guy are you talking about?
This guy, not this guy.
I thought you said this guy.
No, this guy.
Speaking of this guy.
In the beginning, there was
Adam coming from the waist.
There's Adam. I used your name in a play I just wrote, Adam.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
The guy says his name is Adam, 2 A's. The guy goes, Adam? He's like, no, A-D-A-M, 2 A's. It's not together.
Wow.
Oh, my.
Comedy.
It is.
Yes. You can also go to EriDan.xyz if you like.
That's true.
And if you want to buy some merch, EriDanShop.com.
Just spend all night surfing the net for EriDan content.
Yes.
So
do we want to talk about the stats of the movie while we wait for Dave?
I think that's a lovely idea. Let's talk about Heaven Can Wait. It is from 1978. Warren Beatty, Julie Christie, and some other people. Charles Grodin, Buck Henry. Written by Warren Beatty and Buck Henry, and directed by Warren Beatty and Buck Henry. Written by Elaine May and Warren Beatty. $6 million budget, $82 million worldwide. The critics at 86. The audience at a 69. And I know Adam has already brought up in the chat and directly before the pre-show whether this is a sports movie. Is this a sports movie?
It stars a guy who's playing a quarterback. It's based on a movie where the guy was a boxer, and they wanted Muhammad Ali to actually play the part of this one. And they were going to stick with the boxing. But this movie there's been a sequel and 3 remakes, and it was originally a play.
There's a sequel to Heaven Can Wait?
Yeah. Down to Earth, where Mr. Jordan sends a woman down to help somebody.
So
my mom was mentioning that. And then Down to Earth was also the Chris Rock version. And the Chris Rock version, he is a comedian. And this old white guy ends up doing Def Jam or something like that.
Really?
I don't know that Chris Rock has ever done a good movie.
Madagascar?
Okay. That's not a Chris Rock movie. That's an ensemble where he's a voice.
He's in the movie.
Okay.
All right.
I don't think he's ever starred in a good movie.
All right, I'll let that go. What about Head of State? Sorry. Isn't that Chris Rock?
Jigsaw. He starred in Jigsaw.
All right,
There was
maybe there's a few.
A Saw sequel kind of movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was in Grown Ups, but that wasn't on ensemble.
But you're saying a starring role. You want a Chris Rock starring role movie that is.
There aren't a ton of them. I mean, he was in.
He's in everything.
He's been in a lot of good movies, but I'm saying when he's the main guy.
But you're talking about Down to Earth. Down to Earth would be the Chris Rock movie you're mentioning here?
Right, and that's also the sequel to Mr. This movie didn't have a sequel.
Okay,
the original movie had a sequel.
This movie did not have a sequel.
No, the original.
The original
Mr. Jordan.
Fair enough. So, but I've so when I saw this movie for the first time, I was supposed to see Star Wars, and this movie is Star Wars. No. Especially when you're 8 years old. This movie is a far cry from Star Wars when you're 8.
Oh, yeah.
I remember seeing this multiple times.
I think I
saw it when I was young.
Yeah, same here. I think I might have saw it in the theater too, and then 1 or 2 times since then. Don't know why, but okay.
Now, interestingly enough, this is one of those rare movies where the love interest is less attractive than the crazy ex-wife who wants to kill him.
Yeah.
All right, we have 3 guys talking about a woman. Which one's more attractive? How dare you?
I think Stacy thought the same thing. So,
What?
All right.
that the love interest was uglier than his wife.
Now you did mute. There you go.
My mic is freaking out tonight. No, it's the poodle hair. I think.
Yeah.
Issue that I had.
It was probably the British accent.
Oh, I like a British accent.
Yeah, she was not pretty. That's all. British accent didn't help.
There you go.
She was I don't know what I'm talking about.
Gave up too quickly, Adam.
Oh man.
So what have we already talked about while I was distracted by my phone call?
Oh, you're so popular.
The love interest.
I can't. I'm having all sorts of computer problems.
Well, the thing was, he knew that the wife was a murderer, so she wouldn't be attractive.
No. Obviously, she was ugly on the inside.
Yes.
But
Charles Grodin's Charles Grodin.
Yeah.
Oh, and here we go. Now we can really get in. Let's dig into the meat.
I'm sorry, Dave. This conversation can serve no purpose anymore.
All right, Dave.
What with the gray hoodie?
Got your leather smoothie.
You gonna do some push-ups in the clouds?
Yeah, not having any grain smoothies, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we've already questioned the legitimacy of this as a sports movie.
What?
I say it is.
Oh, definitely it is.
Adam questioned.
It's more of
it's not just a sports movie, but it's as much a sports movie as Caddyshack.
Oh, Caddyshack's a sports movie.
Caddyshack's a comedy. It's all slapstick comedy. It just takes place on a golf course.
And this is a romantic comedy that takes place on the football field.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's sports in both.
It's a sci-fi thriller. Also,
I don't remember when Eric was reading the description last week or whenever it got picked that it was a romantic comedy. I didn't see romantic comedy in
It's not listed as a romantic.
Well, it's really not. It's technically not listed that way.
No, it
is. And also
comedy fantasy.
And it's a Super Bowl movie and a romantic comedy. So the perfect movie to have between Super Bowl Sunday and Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
But is it perfect?
No, it's not a perfect movie, but you know what I mean. I like the movie. I doubt anybody else watched Here Comes Mr. Jordan. You did? Cool, Dan. Thanks. Yeah. I mean, the biggest change is from changing it from a boxing movie to a football movie.
I thought Michael Jordan would be in the original. It's going to be a basketball movie.
I think the change mostly holds up. The biggest downside is the writing of the love interest. That's the weakest part of this movie. Yes. It's both the actress and the way they wrote her, with her crusade against evil corporations that they didn't have in the original. The original was just her dad was sent up for supposedly selling some fake bonds, and in reality, he really hadn't been the one who sold them. He was just did what he was told, and Joe Pendleton, or not Joe Pendleton, the rich guy, was basically responsible. So Farnsworth, yeah. So Leo Farnsworth. So that it was a much more small scale personal tragedy, not we're saving the planet, which I really felt hurt.
People signed a petition.
Yeah, that was a downside. On the other hand,
the clock tower.
Yes. On the other hand, and I think Elaine May, who's one of the co-writers of this, who's a brilliant comedy writer, I think what she brought to this is they got a lot more humor from the health staff in this version, from the servants and the butler and all of that. Yeah. And I also think that Diane Cannon and Charles Grodin were better as the wife and the personal private secretary.
Confidential secretary.
Confidential secretary.
I don't know what that means.
I can't tell you. It's confidential.
Don't tell anybody I'm your secretary, but I'll tell everybody I'm your confidential secretary.
But Warren Beatty's charming. He's always charming.
Yeah.
And
is that actually him attempting to play the saxophone?
I don't know. It's bad enough it could be.
Yeah, I would say.
And I think it's odd that that's the one piece you get to take with you to the afterlife, is whatever instrument you have with you at the time.
Well, I think that's I'm not really addressed. That's sort of mentioned a little bit in Here Comes Mr. Jordan. It's like, almost questioning why he has that. And I think the reason he has it is because they made a mistake. It was not supposed to happen. And the original
and the coin trick, he just put the coin right here.
Yeah, the thumb palm. Yeah, and so
1978 penny, and so
the Buck Henry character in the original was played by Edward Everett Horton, who's a classic character actor. Claude Rains plays the James Mason role, who again is excellently cast, and Robert Montgomery is excellent in the Warren Beatty role. I think if they hadn't sort of messed up the love interest, it would have been better, because she's just
and
she's just not interesting. She's not lovable.
Well, and they like have 3 scenes together throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
So they're kind of rushing that. Although I do appreciate the small Pekingese dog that played her hair in this.
The hair in general was such 70s hair.
Oh.
Well, Diane Cannon too. When she's sitting at the dining room table, the giant hair helmet she's wearing.
Yeah, that was Diane Cannon.
Diane Cannon was in Caddyshack too.
Yes, and Diane Cannon, her reactions were great. Like her scream when she sees him for the first time after they think he's dead, and I really enjoyed the way she played that. And also, her sort of love and contempt simultaneously for Charles Grodin was great.
and that's how everybody reacts to Charles Grodin.
He's perfect for that.
It's not a great movie, but it's a movie I have a lot of fun with. I always enjoy watching it.
Well, the ending is quite a disappointment.
Oh,
you think so?
Boy.
Boy.
I do. I feel like he gets ultimately screwed at the end.
He gets royally screwed.
Not do him any favors by letting him live out somebody else's life with no remembrance of his own life.
Yeah, why do they have to do that?
Yeah.
Well, like I said,
the weird thing is that Max does have memories of the fact that he was once Joe, which is a little weird.
Yeah. It makes everything very weird. The ending is very, very.
I don't really mind the ending. I do feel sorry for Max.
I don't think it's a happy ending.
It's not. It's the movie. The ending's a cheap. It's a ripoff. I mean, it's like you watch this whole movie, and the end result is, like I said earlier, through no fault of his own, nothing he did wrong, he ends up the way he ends up at the end, and it's like that's not a happy ending. They could have.
He ends up healthy as a Super Bowl winner with his full life to live out. I'm not sure that's that unhappy.
Was that he wanted to win the Super Bowl. He wanted to go to the Super Bowl and remember it as himself. then they take that away, and I thought,
are you not?
But he is himself. He doesn't have his old memories. That is true. But he is himself. I mean, they even make a point of that earlier in the movie, talking about how you can see someone in their eyes. That's what they're sort of saying is, well, you are not your memories. You are who you are. It is something more deep than that. You may not buy that. I get that. But that's
happy. You would be happy to live out Dan's life for the rest of your life from this point on. No. With no memory of who you were and who you were married with and who your family was.
And who do you see?
He wasn't married. He didn't have any of that stuff. But that's part of the thing. He was, other than Max, they showed him having essentially no personal relationships.
Yeah. Lived in a trailer.
He had a mother.
How do you know? She may have been dead.
The point
Everybody has a mother.
The point is that they made the mistake. They made the mistake. They tried to rectify it by putting him in someone else temporarily. For what purpose then? And then gave him a permanent space, but then he can't remember. What the heck is that?
I want to know if they arranged to have that other quarterback.
I was going to say, yeah, they had him knocked off for sure. But there's another way to look at this, which is, as Mr. Jordan says multiple times, and with not these exact words, but things are meant to be the way they're meant to be. So this was all meant to be. The mistake was meant to be. You may feel that it's unfair to him, and I get that, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but that's the way things were meant to play out for whatever reason.
So in the original movie, did they do the same thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was a boxer, and he was the rich guy, and he wants to start boxing, and then they end up killing him. And so he ends up going, the other boxer that was going to be the one he was going to compete against he gets shot because he doesn't agree to take the fall. Oh. And so he falls over dead, and he jumps into his body at the 9 count.
I feel like I remember.
And then, of course, the girl comes down, and they bump into each other, and she looks into his eyes.
It is impressive how much of the original script they kept, because even though they handled it a little differently, even them talking in the hallway, then the lights going out, that was in the original. So much of it, really, they took very almost verbatim, word for word.
And Here Comes Mr. Jordan was based on the play Heaven Can Wait, but there was another movie that came out a year or two before, I think, called Heaven Can Wait, so they couldn't use that title.
Right.
Yeah, so 1943, actually. That's with Don Amici. Yeah.
Yeah, Don Amici from Cocoon.
Don Amici from Cocoon and Trading Places.
So basically, all the events of the movie we're supposed to believe it's just chance or happenstance or fate.
No, you're supposed to believe whatever you choose to believe. There's multiple interpretations you can put on
your own ending. We're too tired.
Yeah. Oh.
Our entire lives are what they're meant to be, probably.
It is written. Apparently, it's written. Must do what is written.
I mean, if we can accept a duck coming from outer space, we can accept this.
But I don't.
I've seen some pretty disappointing endings to movies, and this is like right up there at the top of the list.
Yeah, wow. I have to agree. I was not impressed with that ending.
I don't find the ending disappointing. But I do understand why some people would. I have no question about that.
It also has the Back to the Future ending in a way where Marty now lives a life that he doesn't know. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of the opposite. Like, Marty,
but he's still Marty.
Doesn't know.
But he's still Marty.
Yeah, but he's a totally different Marty.
He missed his memories are basically false memories of a life he didn't live. It's kind of
But this guy has no memories. He has just the new quarterback's memories.
Right. So why the new So where's the new quarterback? Where's his? Is he in heaven now? And he's
on the plane.
I mean, I would think the same people that didn't like this ending would be was some of the same people who really hated the fact that Wolverine didn't have his memories in X-Men. That we watched the other week, because that also is a case where he's now Wolverine, but he has an entire lifetime of memories he's missing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It never ends. Speaking of that, it's 20 after.
Oh, is it that time already? Your favorite part?
And no, we're not.
What did you do now?
All right. We start with Dave.
Yeah, I'll happily go first. I do like this movie. I fully understand this is not a movie for everybody. Some people are going to hate the ending. Anybody who doesn't like romantic comedies is going to find it disappointing. If you find Julie Christie annoying, and I somewhat did myself, even though I like the movie, that certainly hurts it. But I still feel I both like the story. I like both versions. Here Comes Mr. Jordan and this. They have a bit of a different feel, but surprisingly a lot of overlap. I do think it worked almost a little better as a boxing movie, but I still think it worked either way. And I can also understand why modern audiences might appreciate it as a football movie more. It's not a classic, but I find it very enjoyable. So it's a 78 from me.
78.
78 trombones in the big parade.
That's a lot. That's 2 extra trombones.
Yeah, so I liked it. The Steelers and the Rams were playing in the Super Bowl.
The Steelers lose, though.
So at first I thought, well, maybe Warren Beatty just kind of rewrote that because he didn't like the Steelers winning it. And actually, the movie was out first, and then 2 years later they played in the Super Bowl. So it's kind of interesting. And it, yeah, I mean, the movie goes along okay, and for that era, it was. I remember it being a pretty popular movie then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was almost peak Warren Beatty too. This is when Warren Beatty was probably at his very close to his star peak.
I thought Dick Tracy was.
You're much Madonna after this, so I'm going to give it a 75.
75.
Okay, so I remember being annoyed by this movie because it was always on TV, but I never watched it. It was the cloud scenes. I thought the whole movie was there for some reason. Because that's all I remember. That's the only thing I remember.
Well, it also had an airplane in it, which is why Wade liked it a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. It was
that's true.
Or a Concorde, one of the two.
All right. So, but watching it, I think I remember more parts of it than I knew. It was probably just on somewhere, and I don't remember a lot of it, but I remember the scenery and the scenes playing out. Probably thought it was something else watching it, but yeah, Diane Cannon is hilarious. Charles Grodin is hilarious.
Agreed.
Buck Henry, he's such a talent. He's done so much stuff. It's Get Smart, all that stuff. He's just, I don't know.
James Mason.
James Mason, I'm not a fan of, actually.
I wish it was Jack
movie
Mason.
Or just in general.
In general, I don't like him in a lot of things. I've seen him in as an older person. I don't know if I've seen him in roles when he was younger, but he was in something with I don't even remember. But I just don't care for him very much. He's very boring. But I can see the people that you said were in the original. I'm like, yeah, that matches. Yeah. So that works. It was a better storyline than I remembered. I don't like the ending. That's going to take it way down. Warren Beatty was boring. I don't think he's any fantastic actor, and I think that's why we don't see him anywhere. He's whatever. So I love the football scenes because that's fun. I like sports scenes in movies. I won't call it a sports movie, but so I think I'm going to give it a 75 as well.
75.
One other sort of difference from the original was, I think, partly because they changed it to football player. It's not that you think of football players as being particularly brilliant. We had Gronk trying to kick a field goal in the Super Bowl the other day, but they made him not quite as, I don't say dim, not quite as crude, perhaps, or unrefined. That's a good way to put it. Mm-hmm. As in the boxing movie. He sort of talks like a boxer more in the boxing movie with sort of vernacular.
Yeah, I'm in the pink. I'm in the pink.
Yeah, they give him the pink. Yeah. So they sort of, I don't know if it was because Beatty is less likely to be able to pull that off, or whether they just felt it worked better to have him not have that kind of speech pattern.
Quarterback is typically the smartest player on the team.
Generally, or kicker.
Or at least should be.
Here's the kicker's usually about 12.
Yeah, I didn't like this movie. Big shocker. I mean, it wasn't awful. I mean, I didn't watch it and go, "Oh my God, this is the worst movie ever," or "I hate this movie." I didn't like it. I wish there was way more sports in it than there was, way less romance or whatever. There was a couple of funny parts in it, but to me, it wasn't really comedy. I mean, it was more romance, drama, etc. And then the ending totally like I after the movie's over, I was like, that was probably one of the worst endings to a movie I've ever seen.
I get it. Yeah.
Just because there's really no payoff. There's no payoff.
Right.
It's basically, you know, they make a mistake and oh well, they get off scot-free. Like the dude gets, I mean, to me, the guy gets punished because it's like it's not his fault for what happened. So yeah, it gets a 30.
30.
All right.
That rhymes with party.
A couple of the comments here.
Oh man,
pleasant movie. The story was a bit weird at times and over the top. I did enjoy a lot of humor. I actually think it's cool it didn't have a strictly happy ending. 80.
Oh, she liked the not happy ending.
Ooh.
And then my mom said, I saw a text pop up here. So there it is. He wanted to win the Super Bowl, and he did. That was the best Mr. Jordan could do.
Yeah.
I like the movies. This was the perfect movie after the exciting Super Bowl yesterday. I give it an 80.
Okay.
Wow.
Another 80.
I liked the movie, and I also liked watching the old one as well. And yeah, again, it's not. Is it a sports movie? Yes, but it's not about a team. It's not a team sports movie. It is in a sports universe. I guess I'll say that. Hoosiers, definitely a sports movie, but also romantic. Has some romance in it. But I enjoyed watching it, and I would watch it again, which means it gets a pretty good score. I'm going to give it a 78 because that's the year it came out.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Little known fact.
Oh, we lost Eric's audio again.
Little known fact.
Muted.
There you are. I'm back again. Little known fact, based on a true story. That's where I was going with that.
Of when Eric got to see this instead of.
You know, honestly, I agree with that. Basically everything that everybody said. I don't like the ending. I feel like it's a jerk move that he waited till, hey, I'm going to vanish and you'll forget everything. Bye!
Yeah.
And so the question is, when he eventually does die and go to the way station, will he remember both lives that he lived? Or will he only remember, there's a head scratcher for you right there.
And whose death date does he get? His own or the new guy?
That's a good
new guy already died. So.
And like we discussed before, his death date is next March.
Yes.
March 20th.
And Robert Montgomery missed his by 10 years. He died in 81, and in the movie they said 91 is when he was going to die. You say, hey, it's about 50 years. I'm in the pink.
Yes.
Never heard that term before.
There was one other small thing they added to Heaven Can Wait was them trying to kill him again and failing with the bed, which I enjoyed.
Until they finally got it right with the shotgun, which is terrible. So I ended up at a 73. I don't think it's not a bad movie. You know, it's pleasant enough.
Yeah.
Average. Nothing.
There's your poster.
Well, you know what's interesting is Warren Beatty was nominated he's the first person to be nominated Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actor for the same movie.
Wow. Well, here it is, beating out Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh boy.
And Midnight Run in our not so bad category. Calling in the mid 70s, lower 70s. Will they
ahead of Back to the Future Part 2?
Well, that's so that chaps my ass.
And ahead of the Goonies.
Let me tell you what grinds my gears.
Yeah.
But look, you have two Charles Grodin movies very close together there, Midnight Run and this.
Explains a little bit.
Eric went mute again.
My mic keeps muting.
Weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
But I'm sure Wade will have a change of pace for us.
Well, I think we're ready to find out if Wade knows. Here we go. Wade.
Hey. So I'm going to stick with a sports movie.
Cool.
A different kind of sports. So.
No.
It's all about badminton.
Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, okay.
Not badminton. No.
It's a good movie.
Matt
That's a
Damon.
very good movie. That's exciting, and do we know where that's streaming?
That's what I've been meaning to watch. So happy to hear it.
We did know where it was streaming about 2 hours ago.
It was Netflix or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix.
I think you might be right about that.
It's on Tubi.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it was free on
Swaddle. It's on
It's
Tubi,
on-
Swaddle, and Mumbits.
FX Now,
I'm very confused.
Fubo, and it says Hulu Premium subscription.
Mm.
So I don't know if that means it's on regular Hulu or if you have to have one of their.
Yeah, you have
log
to
in
have
real
an
quick.
add-on, I think.
Yeah, currently not on Netflix.
Yeah.
What?
I'm not lying to you.
It might have been.
We
It might have
just
said
looked-
Hulu then. That's what we saw.
I swear we just looked it up.
I have it recorded on my TiVo, so I can watch it there.
There you go. Everybody head over to Dave's house. So available for rent in all your major outlets, but also on Fubo, Tubi, and DirecTV.
It's only available if you have live TV on Hulu. So
Okay.
Tubi it is.
To the
Fubu
Tubi.
it is. Fubi.
Dooby-doo.
So there you go. Some ads with it with Tubi, but
Ford versus
very exciting. There you go. Ford versus Ferrari.
See, Temu should start a streaming service because their name already sounds like one.
Who?
With all those ads during the Super Bowl.
Timu or Temu or how we pronounce
Temu.
it.
Temu.
Temu. Everybody else was saying Timu before, weren't they?
I always said Temu, but they pronounced it Temu during the Super Bowl. So I guess that's
Gotta go by how they pronounce it. That's my Audi rule.
Yeah.
Well, just don't say Jaguar. That's one of my all-time cringiest.
Jaguar?
Jaguar. Nobody pronounces it Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Well, if you're from Jersey, you do.
You can say Jaguar, you can say Jaguar, but not Jaguar.
Or people that say that say instead of missile, they say missile. I hate that. It's a missile.
Or instead of industry, they say industry.
Or they get snooty and have to pronounce often.
Oh, it makes me want to punch them.
Or they put the U in color and humor.
Well.
Humor. Color.
All right. Well, if you want, we could spin the wheel to get to see who figures out next week's choice for the movie the week after that. If this is more confusing, stay tuned. Feliz Navidad. All right. I think I have this right. Let me see. Oh no, I'm wrong. Amanda did already get to choose a movie. She chose Zoolander earlier this year.
Ooh.
So we're dropping her off the list.
And Dan's mom is available to. Well, she has a week. She's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and Scott, I don't know where Scott is.
Well, I don't know where Scott is, so Scott's not.
And there goes your sound again.
Well, wait, you took Dan's mom off the wheel.
He chose the creature.
Why did my mom disappear?
What?
Why'd you take my mom off?
Because she chose the creator.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We have that's right.
Chose a movie in this current sequence of events. Your mom already chose a movie.
So now
All
it's
right. Scott just texted me. It was funky, but he liked it. The highest score of anybody. 82.
Wow.
Ooh, that's going to raise it up.
What is it? 82?
82.
All right. Well, I'll do some math in a bit. Shall we
Let me
spin?
see if does Scott need to get on the? Oh, he's not here.
50% chance of EriDan picking.
All right.
Yes,
let's go.
it is.
Roll it.
There is a 50 chance. All right, let's give it a shuffle. And
It's EriDan versus Stacy and I. We're a team.
Yeah.
Daisy?
And it looks like
Man.
and you have a week to figure out.
I already know the movie, but I'll wait.
Oh,
Yes.
tell us.
You have to wait for the reveal.
Oh,
What's the genre?
Not how it works.
Comedy.
okay,
Sweet.
good.
All
Heaven
right.
Can Wait 2.
Romantic comedy?
No, please no.
Man with one word shoot.
Yeah.
One of my favorites
Ooh.
Oh,
I have a tie into it too. So
WNBC.
It's going to be overexposed.
Oh, I forgot about Private Parts.
Wow.
I actually just watched that the other day.
Jeez.
Freddie got fingered.
You got to say it. WNBC.
Now this is key, Howard. You got to say it the way Amos says it. WNBC.
Cabin Boy?
Oh God.
If anybody guesses it.
Monkey? That's the only thing I remember.
Although I'm looking at it, looks like it's not really available.
Ooh.
That is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have to reconsider. Lucky you have a week to reconsider.
That's why you have a week to think about all your options.
Or maybe it'll become available.
And
That's
maybe,
possible.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. All right. Shall we move on to this? Oh, yeah. What else have you been watching?
Well,
Wow.
West Wing, True Detective. Same thing as last week, I think. Nothing new.
We
What's
tried
that
to
noise?
watch more Moonlighting.
We got chattering teeth going on in the back.
your expression, I think, says it all, Stacy.
Well,
I hear
it's
some background noise. Some weird
yeah,
background
there is
noise.
some background noise.
I'm muting people to see who it is.
It's probably me.
Eric's watching a movie.
No.
Maybe it's the wheel still spinning. Yeah.
It's Dave.
Dave. Dave with
Dave,
the
you're the winner.
It was him before. Are you pressing a
It sounds
key?
like it sounds like the thing going behind us is making that noise.
It does.
You're getting very sleepy.
But Moonlighting, as wonderful as it was in the 80s, it's not binge worthy. It's one episode every couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it back then. Now I'm like, oh.
I also want to watch because again, it's one I remember from roughly the same era. I want to go back and watch the first episode of Remington Steele.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Doris Roberts.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And Stephanie Zimbalist Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie
She was the mayor of Universal Studios.
Ooh.
Wow. When you live there.
Jumping up over Columbus and Jingle All the Way. Heaven Can Wait now goes up just below Yes Man.
Wow,
It looks like a 6-spot jump.
Yeah. It took over quite a few good movies.
What
in
the
my opinion.
What the hell was Columbus? I don't remember that one.
Yeah,
That
you
was the
do.
one about
You did
that was
it.
Reagan's pick. Yeah.
She was just there last week.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad movie.
Oh.
You would have found it if you remember it. I'm sure Adam found it slow because it certainly was. I enjoyed it, but it was slow.
Probably I can't remember it.
It's a
It
beautiful
was.
You gave it a 10.
It was forgettable. Here you go.
And it's still in the 70s, so wow, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of architecture, a girl, a guy.
Oh, yeah, I remember it now. Okay.
See, it's memorable.
And sitting in cars and on cars.
You said
And
architecture.
smoking.
You said
Smoking.
architecture, so that's
Yeah.
why I was like, oh
It's
yeah.
me right here, right here, right here, right here.
Are you Reggie Watts now?
Wow.
Oh, so it's Eric
so-
making the noise.
We've watched the first 5 episodes, maybe 6. I think it's 6 episodes of the Big Door Prize, which is a very odd Apple TV Plus show.
Yeah, it is.
It's enjoyable, but it's weird.
It is super weird.
You know, it's not as good as Succession, but it is really intriguing.
Yes.
Or not Succession, excuse me. Severance. It's not as good as Severance, but it's almost equally weird.
We watched series one day.
Oh yeah,
We watched series one day on
Netflix.
It's a romantic show in
It's
a way.
it was a movie in 2011 with Anne Hathaway, and
Do you know the
into a
It's a
British
series.
show.
It was like,
There's 14 episodes.
yeah.
It was awesome
What are you
and
doing,
sad.
Eric?
I'm trying to find something that I'm not having any luck finding. Hold on, let me mute that tab, and that'll stop happening.
Did
Gonna
we all
mute
watch
that
Super Bowl?
tab.
We talked about that.
When?
Well, Becky made dinner reservations at a new restaurant like 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and because I didn't really care who was in the Super Bowl, I'm like, yeah, I'll still go out to eat.
Yeah.
So I got to watch the first half, and then we left, and then I pulled my phone out a couple of times, and when I saw it was going to overtime, my first reaction was, I think this is only the second time ever, and it was.
Yeah.
58 Super Bowls. It's only the second time.
Oh,
What was the other one?
I didn't even look that up.
Thought you would have.
the Rams and the Steelers in
It was-
1978.
It was the shirts versus skins. It
Was it one of the Patriots ones that went to overtime? Maybe.
Probably
I
they
don't
were
know.
in so many of them.
Yeah. So Eric, did you get to see the trailer for Deadpool?
Well,
It
you
wasn't
know,
really a trailer. It was more of a teaser.
I watched
Wow.
the teaser. I
Yeah.
did not go online to watch the trailer
Because the full
Oh.
trailer.
because I know the full trailer was online, and I have issues watching trailers, so I refuse to watch the full trailer.
They hit the Falcons,
Oh.
had him down, and they
Oh, I
came
That's
out.
why he doesn't go camping.
I see what you did there.
It looks like it's gonna be really good.
It has a lot of potential.
Just
Just
does have a lot of potential.
yeah.
A
Well,
lot.
it's just the fact. It's just the fact that those movies are just like, they're so different from all the rest of the Marvel movies. That's why I like them so much. Is because
Yeah.
it's more like it's an adult and it's adult.
That's-
It's an adult Marvel movie.
That's why I like the first Guardians of the Galaxy so much too. It wasn't like the rest of the Marvel movies.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
It all depends on if Disney. Well, obviously it depends on getting a good writer and all of that. But if Disney lets them be Deadpool, if Disney doesn't try to tame them in any way and try to clean it up slightly, that would be a huge mistake.
Yeah, I just watched the Super Bowl yesterday, and then I watched, like I said earlier, I watched I watched Private Parts because we had talked about it last week or the week before last, and it's on Amazon. Is it on Prime? Yeah, it's on Prime. So I watched it on Prime, and it's still, it's still pretty funny.
Yeah, but Prime has started their ads, which is a little annoying.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I paid the $3. I took the ransom.
Yeah.
I paid the ransom money.
Oh yeah, Jeff Bezos is going, I got Dan's money. Oh yeah.
No, it just takes a couple million more, and yeah.
I don't think I got. I don't think I can't remember. I may have gotten like an ad before the movie, but during the movie, I didn't get any ads.
There weren't any during Heaven Can Wait. I think they're very selectively applying it.
Oh, okay.
But what was it I watched? When I watched Reacher season 2.
They had him on.
I watched all the episodes but the last one before they started doing ads, and the last episode had ads.
It had so many ads. They made up for all the ones you got to see without ads.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I give them credit. It wasn't
It wasn't
too
too bad.
excessive. It wasn't excessive.
And it was usually just one commercial real quick. So it wasn't.
It's also, you can tell that some streaming services, Tubi seems to do pretty well with this. Some streaming services clearly make an effort to try to find good places to put the ads.
Mhm.
And others just, it's at exactly 20 minutes. They just chop an
Yeah.
ad in right in the middle of a line or right in the middle of a scene. That's
Yeah.
really annoying.
Well,
Mhm.
with Mr. Jordan was on Tubi,
Mhm.
and there wasn't any ads.
I think we had some when we watched it, but they were well placed.
This had no ads at all. Because
Oh, nice.
sometimes you can trick it too if you drag the thing from the bottom all the way to the end of the movie and then back. Sometimes it resets it and you get no
Really
ads.
watching on your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Maybe
I've
that's
done
why there's
that
no
where
ads.
I tried to fast forward in an episode that reset itself, and when I got to where I wanted to start watching it, it brought an ad up right away. you know?
Yeah, they queue up some, not all of them, but they'll queue
Yeah.
up some when you go too far ahead. They're not going to make it that easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one I watched. Reacher. I watched the whole way through it. It was pretty good. Pretty
Yeah,
violent.
it's a good show. I think I liked season 1 better, but season 2 was good.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like
Season one, I think, was better.
the main character sort of plays like a robot version of Tom Brady. Kind of looks a bit like
Except he has a normal
bloated
chin.
Tom Brady.
Unlike Tom
Yeah.
Brady.
Yeah. Well, the guy that stars in that, Alan, whatever his name is,
Rickman or something like that.
He auditioned for American Idol and made like the top 32, but then they cut him. But he was like, he made it to like season 1 or 2.
Wow.
And like he was the hot guy, and there was a hot girl, and they said, "Hey, you guys should just go down to the swimming pool." I saw this in an interview. You guys just go down to the swimming pool and see each other. And then while they're doing that, they filmed this other thing. Like, we don't know where the two of them went.
Yeah.
And they had to kick them off the show because they were off together, and it was totally fake.
Wow.
He's tall. He's not quite as tall as they make him seem in the show, but I think he's like 6'3" or so.
Yeah. But he's taller than Tom Cruise, that's for sure.
Well, most of the world is taller than Tom.
A lot bigger too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He looks like he could, punch a car.
Yeah, that was the funniest part. Where he kicked.
That was funny. When he kicked the car,
and gets the airbag to go off, which I don't think you could actually do.
That's another issue I have with Tom Cruise in action movies. I don't buy him as an action star. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
So, yeah.
Well, he's good at running.
Yes, running is his specialty.
Really?
And jumping off of things.
He is good at that.
And holding on to things. But as far as actually fight scenes, no, it doesn't work as well.
No.
Keanu Reeves can pull it off in the John Wick movies, but Tom Cruise doesn't. Even though he's not huge, but Tom Cruise, it doesn't really work as well.
All right, this took me forever to find this series that we watched. I'm embarrassed by how long it took me to remember the name of the series that we watched last week. But I finally figured it out. We watched a series called Obliterated that's on Netflix.
Yeah, I saw the first episode.
It's 8 episodes.
I think I watched that.
Wildly inappropriate. If you like the humor of the boys, you might enjoy Obliterated. I highly recommend it.
Is that Chris Hemsworth?
We watched it in 2 days.
Trying to find a nuclear bomb, and they thought it was.
Is that Chris Hemsworth?
Your cannons going on.
It is not.
It's definitely a mullet, though.
Yeah. It looks like him at the top.
Yeah, no, but it's not Chris Hemsworth, but it's. I don't know.
Obliterated in Las Vegas. That's what happened to San Francisco yesterday.
Well, I had the interest. Speaking of what have you been watching, or what else have you been watching? So during the Super Bowl yesterday, Amanda came over. So there were the 3 of us watching it, and they had a plug probably about late first quarter for the Nickelodeon feed. And I was then pretty much forced to watch the Nickelodeon feed for the rest of the game. with Patrick acting really dumb, and SpongeBob making bad jokes, and Doodle Bob doing weird little doodles on the screen, and every once in a while Dora popping up explaining the rules of football.
A holding foul.
Fantastic.
A false start is when the offensive line moves when they're not allowed to, and you have to move back 5 yards. Maybe they need a map to find the end zone.
No, I'm the map.
They were actually there. They showed a behind the scenes video, and they were actually there in like motion capture suits and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know,
Fun.
The technology was good. Yeah.
They spared.
And they had Sandy there too, because she was somewhat rooting for the Chiefs because Mahomes is from Texas.
well, we'll say once again this year the commercials suck for the most part.
Yeah, they
2
were
Tom Brady commercials, really?
They were terrible.
I mean, if you want to
There are
buy
a few good. There are a few entertaining ones.
the main theme of the commercials, if you want to buy cheap crap from China, there you go. You know,
Like a
I'm like, isn't
billionaire.
this just Wish?
that's basically
Wish or AliExpress or it's cheap garbage from China. I've bought some of it. I should know.
It's like here's Harbor Freight tools, except for things other than tools.
Well,
Even cheaper.
I made the mistake months ago of I downloaded the app and I was just checking some stuff out, and I'm like, yeah, this is all garbage. Deleted the app, and now I get like an email every day from like their website. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had a buddy who's like, he
Only
goes, if you ever decide to buy something from here, I'll send you a link, because then I get a bunch of free stuff and you get a bunch of free stuff. That free stuff was $45.
well,
I mean, I got some free stuff. But
I
it's like
enjoyed
you have
the
to get some other
M&M
stuff.
commercial.
But this was pretty good.
This
It was okay. It wasn't great.
Oh, come on. It's Scarlett Johansson.
It wasn't that good.
Oh, M&M's presents the Almost Champions Ring of Comfort. It's actual science. First, we took comforting M&M's peanut butter and compressed it into real diamonds.
I think I did see that, but I didn't.
Tastes like peanut butter.
Don't lick the blame.
Then we polished them with the size of those who almost won a Super Bowl.
Almost.
And Scarlett Johansson.
I've lost 2 Oscar races.
In the same year. Don't tell Marino I gave you this.
It's mad.
Dan Marino was in 2 commercials.
Yeah. And so was Tom Brady.
You missed that completely.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, that was terrible.
Like a good neighbor.
State Farm is there.
Is
I
there.
think the one that was like voted like best commercials, I think was like the Dunkin' Donuts one or something like that.
Oh, the Ben Affleck one?
Yeah.
It wasn't that great.
We missed so much.
I saw the Ben Affleck one.
I mean, they just
If you're
I don't know.
interested,
Like, don't do that.
It's
again.
okay.
Never do that.
if you're interested in what you really missed, you could head over to taylorpictures.net, where they have over 60 pictures of Taylor Swift enjoying herself at the Super Bowl.
Wow. That's over 60 more than I really want to see.
Exactly.
Eric, is that your site?
That is my side hustle.
Like I was listening to something earlier where they were discussing it, and they were like, you know, and I don't know if it was something to do with the Grammy situation or not, but they were like, does her music really stand out? And I'm like, no, it doesn't. It's just like everyone else's music. I mean,
I'm not going to criticize her music. I mean, if she's to your taste, more power to you. It's just not to my taste.
I just think it's it's one of those deals where she's the hot thing right now. That's what I think it is, and I don't
to a degree, but I at least I give her some credit because she does write her own songs.
She does,
and which puts her a cut above the Britney Spears of the world, who just do whatever's put in front of them.
Yeah.
You know, Olivia Rodrigo the same way. I appreciate that she does her own writing, and you know I respect that. As
does Debbie Gibson. This made the internet, but then it turned out it was fake. I don't know if I can. It's the picture of. Let's see if I can.
There you go.
What is that?
Jason
Zach
Kelce dressed as Zach Galifianakis, but it turns out that was fake. Yeah. Somebody just photoshopped it. He didn't show up dressed.
Rely on the internet. What are you supposed to rely on?
Right.
Well, as soon as I looked at it, I'm like, wait, the belt buckle is exactly the same spot.
Oh,
background is exactly the same.
There was the AI commercial. That was funny. Did you see that one where they had the stuff produced by AI, like had the guy with 3 arms? And
yes, with all the fingers.
That was funny. I enjoyed that one.
Well, that was aimed at you.
Because I have all the fingers.
Next year, Super Bowl's in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Wow.
You want to go home for it?
Oh, I wish. I ain't got that kind of money.
Halftime? Anybody enjoy halftime?
I
It
turned
was good. Although
good.
I found the molded pecs and abs to be a little bit weird.
You don't think you should have abs on the outside of your jacket?
It struck me as a little odd.
The last time I was in New Orleans was the 2002 Super Bowl, and I did not go to the game or anything because, as Adam said, that's ridiculously expensive.
Oh, yes.
But I had a ticket to go for a comedy thing after 9/11 that was canceled, so I used my ticket and went back and was in New Orleans for the Super Bowl, but did not go to the Super Bowl.
One line I did like from Heaven Can Wait was when the guy who sold the Rams to him is standing there all upset. They got my team. You know, how do you do it? I asked for $69 million, and he said yes. The bastard. And you know, then the other guy says later that was what it was worth $16 million.
Yes.
Yeah. And ironically, I was reading about the 49ers because the current owner family bought it in, I think it was 76 or 77. So almost the same time that movie came out, and they paid $13 million for the 49ers. So that was about the market value.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And that's the DeBartolo family.
And it's worth about $2 billion now.
Yeah, that's right. That's who sold it.
Do they still?
I remember
the same family does. Yeah.
I remember driving to Boardman, and we drive by their headquarters. And
Yes.
there'd be a 49s
Uh-huh.
logo. I'm like, why is there
Yep.
a 49s logo in Ohio?
And
Exactly.
weren't they co-owners of the Penguins for a while? Or no,
Yeah.
the Pirates.
No,
Pirates.
the Penguins.
It was the Penguins?
The Penguins
His
and-
dad owned the Penguins.
Beaver
Yeah.
Valley Mall.
Yeah.
Yep.
So is Dr. DeBartolo of the DeBartolos who own the 49ers?
I don't know who Dr.
Wayne
DeBartolo is.
He's a dentist, sedation dentistry.
No, he's DeBartolo. He pronounced it differently.
That's right.
And if he is,
Oh,
he's the
right.
loser in the family.
He does pronounce it differently.
All right. Well, the clicking's back.
Yeah.
And I think it's about time for me to take some more meds. I think the pain's starting to come back.
Probably
What's
is
your
a good
pain?
topic.
I had a tooth pulled today.
Oh, I'm getting one pulled in a couple
was it-
weeks.
Number 30.
Wow, you've had 30 teeth pulled?
Like I got the dentist was really cool, but I got there. He said, just to review, you're getting out the next to the last one, the lower right side, correct? I'm like, well, you can see it. He goes, we call that number 30. I go, great. And the dental assistant's really funny. I walked in, he goes, Dan the Man Levitan. I go, wow, a Good Morning Vietnam reference. I wasn't expecting that at the dentist's office.
Yeah.
And he's like, I wasn't expecting you to get the reference. I'm like, you're 50 to 54 years old, aren't you? He's like, I am.
If the dentist has to ask you what tooth is being pulled, you got a problem, dude.
Yeah.
But they just
Yeah, that's
verify
not a good sign.
everything. I think it goes back to the, when like they put an X on your foot, like if they're doing surgery on the right foot,
Mhm.
they put an X on the left foot. Like, don't do this one.
Mhm.
X marks the spot.
That's a little confusing, I was going to say.
Okay, maybe they put an X on the one they're supposed to. I don't know.
Well, a friend of mine is a malpractice lawyer, and he did have one case where there was a 15-year-old boy that had to have a testicle removed, and they removed the wrong one.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Yeah, they removed some other guys.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh my gosh. I think.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's uncommon, but that's not rare.
Yeah.
They have mistaken amputations. They've had mistaken organs. Yeah.
Portland organs.
Speaking
Yeah,
of that,
Long time.
now you reminded me of that. I watched back to what we were watching real quick. I watched a 4-part documentary series on Max about the Heaven's Gate cult. It was really
Oh
interesting.
man.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
It
some
was-
sick stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and believe it or
Hope they're
not, they,
enjoying that ride on the UFO.
well, they pretty much got. It was interesting because they pretty much got their start on the West Coast in Oregon in the late '70s. So
They're the ones with the purple. They all wore purple and then
all black. They wore all black. And they wore those Nike. They wore Nike Monarchs.
Yeah.
And after that happened, Nike pulled them off the shelves and discontinued them. And
Were they the ones that were castrating themselves and all
yes,
that weird
that's,
stuff?
that's
Yeah.
why
Then
when
they
you-
also have like
Yeah.
two. They had like 2 cups of vodka.
yeah.
Everyone's-
So
they had the vodka with them. I'm like, oh my god, Heaven's got a 2-drink minimum.
well, basically they basically committed suicide in groups. They had 3 different groups that were each basically were watching over each group and cleaning up after it and all that stuff. And then the last 2 people just went and did whatever.
Did
Walked
themselves,
out very
yeah.
quietly.
And one of the people that died was in the cult was Nichelle Nichols' brother.
Oh,
Star
man.
Trek.
Wow.
Yeah.
Uhura.
Yeah. So
Wow.
Oh my.
That's really sad.
Oh my.
I think I remember that.
yeah, Eric looks like he's about to fall asleep.
Yeah. That's all right. It's like,
Okay, we're good. I'm good.
I'm on meds.
Oh, Jam's toaster just weighed in.
What's that?
There you go. Hello. All right. Hello.
Oh,
Hello and goodbye.
Yeah.
Like the Tom Hanks bit on Saturday Night Live. Hello and goodbye.
Goodbye. All right. Well, I guess we'll next week I'll tell you what movie I'm picking.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Ford versus Ferrari.
Ford versus Ferrari is
Yes.
our film for next week to talk about.
Loving the stream. Thank you.
I
There.
said that this morning at 3 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Why? Did you have a jam toaster?
Wow.
Oh, God.
Wow.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us.
Yes.
And we'll see you back here next Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Is there a show Saturday? Saturday show?
Dan?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Adam, real funny. So Rafi and I were driving the El Dorado.
Yeah.
We went. We parked. We went to get donuts.
Ooh, they
There
parked.
was a line, a block of the line. So we're like, we're not waiting. Let's just go get Skonuts. We get back in the car. We're on our way back. We're in front, right by the Mossy shop. You know where that is.
Yes.
The heater core blew in the car. It just fills with steam. We're not on anymore. So all of a sudden, the steam starts pouring out. Rafi's shoes get soaked. Water just pours into the the passenger compartment. I roll the windows down. We're in front of the pot store, and like smoke's just pouring out like a Cheech and Chong movie. And I'm like, why didn't this not happen when we were live?
Yeah,
that would have been awesome.
I know.
You
I called. I got Becky picked us up, and roadside assistants trucked the car to my garage. So there you go.
Oh boy.
Good gravy.
New heater core coming.
You should never miss an episode of Cariata because you never know what might happen.
That could happen.
Wackiness ensues.
Wacky.
All right, everybody.
All right.
Goodbye. Good night.
Goodbye.